He didn't get that. Sure. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope you're all having a nice day. Hope you all had a nice Thursday night. I had a good one. I went 4-1 last night. My only loss was the Knicks Timberwolves under, which, I mean, you know what? The Knicks are too good. The Knicks are too good is what it comes down to. Other than that, I won every bet I placed. So it was a nice Thursday night. Today, not off to the greatest start. I lost a bet in the last couple minutes. Jacksonville State, man, scored that touchdown to kill me at the end. That was a fun game to watch, though, so not mad at it. All right, so we got 3 NBA games. We'll get through them quickly. Then we got a couple college basketball, and then we got Notre Dame, Indiana. So let's start with the first one. Charlotte on the road in Philadelphia. Sixers laying 12.5 points at home here. Personally, I don't see how the Hornets are going to score without LaMelo Ball, no Brandon Miller. Both these teams run a slow pace. I haven't placed this yet, but I'd be down for a Hornets team total under, maybe. I don't see how they get to triple digits. This team's barely cracking triple digits anyway without those two players against Philly, who's been playing some pretty good defense. What do you guys think about a Charlotte team total under?
Go ahead, Ski.
I'll say you're missing about 5 points already because of the drop from the opener. So I'm just not one into betting the ass end of the line. So if I feel like I still like it after an 8-point move on the full game total, I probably would just let it go. And this is a game I'm not too interested in betting at all anyway. The other two I'll have more on.
All right, cool. Yeah, so it's Charlotte team total under a pass for me. Pass for Ski. Chris, anything?
It'd be the same, Kyle. You mentioned it. With LaMelo on the floor, they're still a bottom 5 offensive rated team. Without him, bottom 5 offensive rated team. Philly, like you talked about it, I think playing at the 4th slowest pace over the last 5 games. Also top 10 defense. Already beaten this team twice in the second leg of a back-to-back. I'm not sure. Like, who's going to do the scoring? So team total under is 100.5. Minus 112 on FanDuel is the best number. I was like literally just double checking the number right before we came on the show. So that would be the look for me in this game as well. Didn't bet it.
I think I might bet that, honestly. But let's move on to the next one. I think I might bet it
too, Kyle.
These NBA games are ugly in a sense that I like all 3 unders. Here we are in the next game. Milwaukee on the road in Cleveland. I kind of like the under here. Dame Lillard has been ruled out, or is he doubtful? He's been ruled out, right?
Out.
Yeah, he was ruled out yesterday.
So with Dame Lillard out, I think the matchup for Milwaukee on the defensive side might be slightly better. Cleveland likes to shoot the outside shot. In the last 10 games, they're 4th in above the break 3 frequency. Milwaukee's already been playing some solid defense on the perimeter. Now you take out Lillard, who, not hating on Damian Lillard, but he's not the strongest defensive presence out there. So taking out Lillard might actually improve Milwaukee's perimeter defense a little bit. So I don't necessarily hate the matchup. We know Milwaukee can play down low. This is a solid interior defense. They have a lot of size. So I think this is a solid matchup for Milwaukee defensively. And then on the other side, I mean, you take out Lillard. We talked about how maybe that improves Milwaukee's defense a little bit. But on the offensive side of the ball, obviously they're going to be a little bit limited without him. They are top 10 in above the break 3 frequency in their last 10 games, but Lillard takes a lot of those shots. So you take him out. This offense becomes more reliant on getting to the basket, which plays directly into the strength of this Cleveland defense. So 221, what is it, 221, 220 and a half? I don't know. I think it stays under, and I might be down to bet this one as well. Are you guys on board with an under here?
This one I can absolutely see an under. The offense for Milwaukee without Lillard, it just really struggles. Teams pack the paint, or at least I saw a team recently pack the paint every time Lillard went out. And that's when Milwaukee was struggling to score. And if Cleveland does that with the trees down there, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, it's going to be trouble for Milwaukee. So I can understand less points, but I just think Cleveland's going to beat up on this team. You get a chance to flex on them and just show them, you're still the top over there. And you can take advantage of them without Lillard. All 5 of Cleveland's last wins have been by double digits. They're at the house where they are 11-4 ATS. I don't see why Cleveland can't win this game by double digits. I'll be going Cleveland -9 in this game.
Cleveland -9. So maybe that shifts me over to a Milwaukee team total under. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I like what both of you guys are saying. I'm not. I know that it came out that Darvin Ham shared with Doc that he didn't want the team to celebrate too much because the Lakers really struggled after beating Indiana in the Cup last season. They ended up not covering 5 straight games after they beat the Pacers after winning the Cup. They went 3-8 straight up, 4-7 against the number to close out December after winning the Cup. And like to Ski's point, you got a team in Cleveland that's coming, 3 days rest. They've covered 5 of their last 7 games. They got Philly tomorrow, but they don't have to travel. It's still at home. They've already won both games already in the regular season head-to-head matchup between the two teams as well. So I do kind of feel like on the Bucks side, I could see them potentially struggling. I kind of feel like, and I'm interested in y'all thoughts on this. Not sure how much Cleveland will have to score in this game, but I kind of feel like after you play the defense that it takes to win the Cup, we saw the Lakers really lock in on defense last year in the Cup, and then same thing for the Bucks. They held OKC to 81 points in the championship game the other day, 102 for Atlanta, and then 109 to Orlando. I kind of feel like, to Ski's point, I guess, I would probably be laying this. This was 4.5 yesterday after we finished the show. After we finished your show, Kyle. And then I started looking into it. Dame got rolled out, and it immediately jumped to 7.5. The total, of course, has continued to come down. I think it was at 224.5. So I agree with both of you guys saying. I think team total under or just laying the points. I just didn't get there with either. The Bucks are 0-4 against the spread after a Cup game so far this season as well. They have not covered any game after a Cup game. And it does kind of feel like they're just kind of pitching this one with Dame being out.
They haven't covered a single spread after a Cup game. Ty Thompson's
0-4. 0-4 against the number after a Cup game so far this season.
So maybe I'll just rock with the Bucks team total under. Without Dame, the offense should be a little limited. All right, I might do that. Oklahoma City, Miami. Shocker. I like another under here. I mean, you got two very good defensive teams. Oklahoma City, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. I think we'd all agree there. They're on the season. They are first in defensive rating in the last 10 games. They're second in defensive rating. Consistent, excellent defensive team on the road to Miami. Another team that plays great defense. Problem is, both these teams are top 10 offensive teams as well. But in the last 10 games, these two teams 21st in pace, 29th in pace. The under came through for me last night. I took the under in Oklahoma City, Orlando. Got it for me. So I think I would go right back to it at 217.5. I've been doing the college football playoff and some NFL stuff because the Saturday games throw my schedule off a bit. So I haven't placed any bets in the NBA, but I'm down to play this under if you guys are co-signing it.
I'm not going to say I co-sign it, but I can't talk you off. That's what I'll say. I think that this is a very bad spot for Oklahoma City. They've played 2 games at home since Thanksgiving. They just went to Vegas, probably partied out there, then had to play a tough physical Orlando team last night. And now in South Beach, I see a lot of potential for partying, a lot of, it's third game in 4 nights for them versus Miami, who I think had 2 days or 3 days rest at the house. It's a Miami spot if I ever seen one. I rarely, try to bet against the Thunder, especially in a pick'em range, but this is absolutely a heat spot, so you can put the heat up for me.
All right, Miami plus 1.5. It's tough to fade Oklahoma City, but I do get it. It is about as bad a spot as you can get for Oklahoma City. Chris?
I really want to play OKC here. Like you said, it's just because it's a pick. I didn't play it though. I think somebody mentioned this on my show earlier to Ski's point. Miami with the rest advantage this season, I think they're 5-0 straight up. And you really just need them to win the game. You can get them +1. OKC on the second leg of back-to-back games, 4-0 straight up. So I also looked at the spot like teams playing Orlando first and then got the short travel to Miami with no rest, of course. Going back to last season, all of those teams were 3-0 and they beat Miami on the second leg of a back-to-back after playing Orlando the night before. All 3 games went under the total as well, to your points, Kyle. 3-0 to the under in that spot as well. What I did play in this game, though, I played Bam under his 16.5 points. Smaller play, like only a half unit play, but it's my favorite thing on the board for today. And I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but Jimmy is in contract, like trade talks and all that good stuff. So he's been kind of balling out. He hooped against Detroit the other day. And then Tyler Hero might be like the best player in the NBA, not named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's like shooting all the shots. Bam's just kind of out there. He's just kind of floating around. Like he'll shoot a shot every now and then, maybe get a rebound or 2. But when I went back and looked at the logs in the games that Jimmy Butler have played this season, Bam's under his 16.5 points in 14 of the 19 games so far this season. 74% hit rate there. He's gone under in 8 of the last 10 games and 9 of the 12 games that Jimmy's played in South Beach specifically. And it's a shot attempts. He's averaging just 15 points per game on 44% shooting and only taking 13 shots in the games without Jimmy compared to the games with Jimmy where he's shooting the ball a lot less. So I do think the Thunder, even on the second leg of a back-to-back, they've been really, really good with Isaiah Hartenstein in specifically at the center position. They're allowing the second fewest points there. I think they limit Bam, and it's just Jimmy and Tyler continuing to play well like they have been recently.
Estot says Bam over 4.5 assists. Bam has scored over 15 points in the last 4 games. Estot doesn't like how you're fading this guy here. He's a little pissed. All right. So let's move on to college basketball. Ski, you said you had to go anyway. Make sure you give these guys a follow. Check out their YouTube channels. Chris's show is in the morning, Ski's in the afternoon. They both have their own YouTube channels. Their Twitter names right below their faces on here. So, guys, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you, guys. Best luck.
Later.
All right, next up, college basketball. We got 2 games, and then we'll get to the Fighting Irish against the Hoosiers. Benny, what's up, man? I'm on your side. We got there's a few Hoosiers fans out here. You got Tinker, you got Benny. There's a few names in the comments that are, I don't know if they live in Indiana or are just Hoosiers fans. Well, I know that Tinker lives in it. Oh my God. Lagway, that's a bad pick. I mean, I didn't bet this game. I don't know why I even care. That's a bad pick. Toast, how's your day going, man?
Lost my last 8 bets, and I'm sick as a fucking dog, so.
Yeah. The heater couldn't last forever. Had to come down to earth at some point. So
I only had like a 20-point lead with 6 minutes to go, just to lose on a half-court buzzer beater at the end. So
I would love to see what the hit rate are for a team up 20 points in the last 7 minutes of college basketball. It's got to be like.
I'd like to know what those are with me on the other side. I bet you it increases exponentially. We can't all be like Andy and hit every money line parlay they place.
Yeah, I got another one tonight. 4 in a row now.
You've hit 4 of those parlays in a row?
He is honestly the luckiest person I've ever been associated gambling with. And I'm not exaggerating. I am literally not exaggerating.
All right, Andy, you going to share your parlay with everyone?
No, he doesn't share them.
He doesn't share it. It just randomly appears.
You want to go through the games first and then I can do it, or do you just want
Sure.
me to say
Yeah, all right. So
No, give Andy his show. I want to hear all 3 of these legs, all 15 of them. Go
4 today. Got 4 today.
Of course there's 4 today. Of course.
Starting now, or it started maybe. North Texas, Loyola Marymount, and UTEP. Let me check the Norfolk.
That's only 3.
No, that's 4.
North Texas, Loyola Marymount, and UTEP?
And Norfolk State.
Oh,
It was up 16-9 on Grambling right now. So those are the 4 teams.
That's
Cool
free,
story,
boy.
Andy.
It's free as air, boys. I promise.
Say it. Why is it what?
So what do you get? St. John's Prov?
Are we going to talk?
Yeah, we'll prop
Oh,
be real.
did you want me to start with this?
Yeah,
game?
go ahead. St. John's
Go
Prov.
ahead. You're the guru.
I think I already know exactly what Toast is going to say. I think that they're.
Who cares? I suck.
What?
I said, who cares? I suck. Just give your pick.
I think St. John's going to win this game pretty handedly. I've obviously been more on this team than anybody else, but I mean, if you look at the way that they play, they can pretty much do anything to a team inside the 3-point line, and they're pretty good shooting at the 3-point line as well. If you remember, the only 2 games they lost this year to Baylor and Georgia. Georgia's one of the best 3-point defensive teams in the country. Providence is nowhere near that. And that Baylor game, they lost on a buzzer beater. This team, other than that, they've been winning comfortably. They've been pretty much dominating their opponents. Granted, they haven't been the strongest, but again, I don't think Providence is that good of a basketball team this year. They're really not shooting as well as they usually would, and they want to shoot the 3. So, yeah, I think St. John's can win this comfortably. I understand it's a road game. The only hesitation, the only reason I haven't bet it yet is because it's a home game. And the number keeps going down, so I might get a better number. But yeah, I like St. John's in this spot.
Toast?
Yeah.
Scoop, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends is a huge Seton Hall fan. He actually works for Seton Hall's athletic department. He's sad every time I mention Kadari Richmond. Yeah, he just fills up the stat sheet. So last time I saw with Bryce Hopkins, it's a game time decision still, right? He's probably maybe playing. Obviously a huge impact on the game, and really if Bryce Hopkins doesn't play, the talent on Providence is really god awful. What Kim English is putting out in the court just isn't it. They had a bad game against the Bonnies. Even with Hopkins, they lost to Rhode Island by 6. So really, I'm not sure Hopkins even matters that much here when the rest of the team isn't great. So, yeah, he missed 9 of 12 games so far this season. Recovered from a torn ACL. So I'm definitely going St. John's. St. John's is a great team, and defensively they can pressure Providence all night. The Friars aren't a good shooting team to begin with. They're shooting 41% the last 3 games, and that was against DePaul, St. Bonnie's, and Rhode Island. So, and St. John's is defensively way better than them. So Providence is actually outside of the top 200 in field goal percentage in general. So, yeah, like Andy said, St. John's has scored like 88 plus in the last 3 games. So I think this line's a bit too small. I would actually be surprised if they kept this in this game in the second half. This should be, I think, double digits with 10 minutes left to go in the second half. So I would take St. John's.
Wow, Doug Lane is in the comments. I haven't seen Doug Lane in forever. He's coming out for the Buckeyes game.
Yeah, Ohio State's coming.
Yep. Toast, are you with them on St. John's?
I just want to say shout out to Squares R Us for that last segment. Absolutely, that was awesome. I'm on Providence here, and the fact that the line's down at 5.5 and not 6.5 tells me that Hopkins is probably going to play. How I feel like this. Is St. John's good? I don't know yet. I know how Andy feels. I don't feel the same way. I think they're extremely well coached, but at the same time, they've played absolutely nobody. They had that double overtime win against our loss against Baylor when they choked that game away. They choked the Georgia game away, kind of. But my thing is that they haven't played a road game. This is going to be their first true road game, and they're going to have to do that in the dunk. Yes, Providence is kind of crappy. I won't lie. They turn the ball over a lot. They can't shoot free throws. But what do, Andy? Slow the game to a crawl. And if you can't get the Johnnies going up and down the floor and you're forced to have these guys like Kadari Richmond playing the half court, I'll take my chances with the Providence defense at the dunk, with or without Bryce Hopkins. So I like Providence a lot here. I think they can match up well inside. I think they're going to make this game. I think they're going to make St. John's play this game in a half court. And if St. John's isn't getting up and down the floor, getting easy buckets, I think all those gaudy offensive rebounding numbers that people see on KenPom and whatnot lose them dramatically when you're not getting up and down the floor and they're playing in a half court with the team in Providence that's going to hang their hat on their rebounding ability, especially tonight in the dunk. So Hopkins or not, that line tells me that he is playing. I bet Providence.
I would be on Providence too, not knowing much, but I get an ugly home dog nobody likes. People in the comments, a couple people, Sky High's on Providence, Mark is on Providence, Wags is on Providence.
A lot of bad bets here, I guess.
All right, let's move on to the next one. One more college basketball, and then we'll do the Notre Dame game. Dayton, Cincinnati. Andy, what is this part of your parlay?
No, it's not. No, I actually want Toast to start on this one because I'm very close to betting one of these teams, and I want to know what he has to say first.
Cincinnati first half for me. I want to try to pick on what Dayton has done the last couple games. They had a really, really big, huge. Or keep in mind, they played that in Hawaii. Obviously, they played North Carolina, Iowa State, Connecticut. That's going to make their schedule look really good. I don't think they played bad in that tournament at all. I mean, North Carolina is a pretty decent team. Every team that they played, with the exception against UConn, which they obviously won that game. All those games were close. Obviously, they blew up UConn, but now we've got them in their first. It's not a true road game, but it's pretty damn close. Regardless, you're getting them against you have them coming off the Marquette game and a UNLV game, which they shouldn't have really had troubles with, but they had troubles with that UNLV game. And now you're going to be asking those kids to get up for this game against Cincinnati. It's going to be their third game in 6 days or whatever it is. Again, is Cincinnati. I don't really know what to expect from Cincinnati. They really haven't played anybody either. And I don't even think Villanova is a decent team, but the only decent team that they played in Villanova, they lost by 8. But I do think this is a really good spot for them coming off of the Xavier game, which, again, you can pick apart what Xavier does. Sure, they're a pretty bad basketball team as well, but that was a pretty big win for them. Cincinnati has a huge size advantage in this game as well, so I have a feeling that I just don't want to worry about this. I don't want to worry about their offense late, but I do think that they're going to be jacked up and ready for this game in the beginning. So I played Cincinnati first half -1.5. I just didn't want to deal with this game being close. I don't think that Dayton's that bad of a basketball game. Cincinnati is one of the worst, if not the worst, free throw shooting team in the country right now. So I don't want to have to worry about what they're doing at the free throw line late in this ball game. So I think that they come out. I think Dayton comes out a little bit flat. I think Cincinnati comes out a little bit juiced up. And whatever happens in the second half happens in the second half. But I think Cincinnati takes care of business in the first 20 minutes.
Cincinnati first half. Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, he pretty much. He did say the one thing that I'm worried about is the late game offense, but I mean, I like Cincinnati here. He kind of.
I don't get it. What's the deal with those? Is Dayton good in the late games or something?
Well, no, but Cincinnati isn't exactly what we call a strong offensive team, so those teams usually do falter toward the end of games, especially because they're pretty inexperienced, I believe so. So, the reason I like them is for Dayton, and a lot of it is who have they played, but the point is they played one team who can shoot both twos and threes, which is what Cincinnati's been able to do that. They have a pretty good percentage from both. That's the one team that Dayton has played besides UConn, and we've seen what UConn has been post Maui. They're clearly that team that was in Maui was not the team that we were going to be seeing the rest of the year. It was Iowa State, and Iowa State scored 89 on Dayton. So I think that there could be a decent amount of offense from Cincinnati in this one. The only thing that scares me is the late game. So I would actually say Cincinnati first half is good too, but you can just put the 2.5 for me too, because they'll probably cover that as well. I was surprised because this opened at 3.5 and went down. So people are betting Dayton, but I don't see it. I don't think Dayton's that good of a team. They just played a pretty close game with UNLV, like you said. They played a close game with Western Michigan, who we just saw isn't that good of a basketball team. So yeah, they've been pretty shady at this point as well. So I would be on Cincinnati.
And part of the reason that I like the first half as well is that I want to try to take advantage of, since this is being like Cincinnati's like one of their bigger games. I mean, against number 31 Dayton, then they have a little bit of a game against somebody Grambling or something like that later, and then they start their conference schedule. So this is like a game. You got to assume that they have this game circled. They've had 6 days to prepare for this game. Yeah, that's why I really stuck to the first half.
Florida's running the ball in Tulane pretty easily. For those of you that bet this football game, Scoop.
Yeah, Battle of Ohio here. I hate the tail toast, but I kind of agree with him. I think I talked about Dayton a few weeks ago. They're definitely fun to watch, but I think they are a bit flawed. And they're playing from behind a bit. They came back against Marquette. They pulled it out barely against UNLV. But I like Cincinnati clamped down here. Defensively, they're 10th in defensive rating. And I know Cincy has played a cupcake schedule so far, but they're really solid, especially at the rim. They're top 5 in effective field goal percentage on defense at the rim, so that'll shut down one of Dayton's strengths down low. But they're also solid at defending spot-up shooters and causing turnovers. So I know Toe said it. This is technically a neutral site, though. It's in Cincinnati. It's at Heritage Bank. So, yeah, this defense should lead the way. Last game against Xavier, they still shot 37%, still came up with a win. Their offense hasn't been great, but it's improving. Lukosius has been solid for them. He's probably the best shooter on the team. He's shooting almost 50% from 3. But like Toe said, also the size advantage for Cincy should create a rebounding advantage, a second chance points. And I really think we're buying low on Cincy. They haven't covered in 4 straight. And I genuinely think they're a more talented team than Dayton. And as much as their offense is okay, their field goal percentage is actually in the top 20. So as long as they're rebounding, this should be a game they cover, which is essentially a home game. So I'm going to take Cincinnati here.
I'm not betting this game. I don't know. You guys both like Cincinnati first half. It's weird. Let's talk the college football playoff game. First playoff game of the year. First playoff game ever of this format. Toast, did you want to stay around or you heading out?
Yeah, I just have one question. How do you not watch that Young Jeezy Notre Dame hype video and not bet Notre Dame? That's just my only question, and I'm going to go. Just a curious question.
Oh, yeah. Day, we should base our bets off the hype videos. You're right.
It was a dope video. I'm not going to lie. Have a good day, guys.
Later. All right. Tankers in the house. We're talking Indiana. If you guys watched the video I uploaded, you guys already know what I'm on. So either you guys like to go first here? Scoop, you're on the same side as me.
Yeah, Scoop should go first.
Yeah, so I took all 4 games when the lines came out. 3 of them went my way. I have Indiana +9 when it came out. I'd still bet them if you can get 7. I mean, I still bet them no matter what. I know Indiana got rocked when they played Ohio State, but I also said I can't wait to fade Notre Dame when playoff time comes around. So I'm not going to let one game Indiana played poorly to affect me taking them here. Just like the Northern Illinois game for Notre Dame, I consider a one-off as well. This Indiana team still had the second most points in college football this season, and Curtis Rourke has played its way into kind of draft stock status. Notre Dame is one of the better pass rushers this season, but Curtis Rourke is number one in terms of efficiency under pressure. I'm not saying Rourke is going to light up Notre Dame's defense by any means. I don't think that at all, but I know he won't make bad decisions when facing pressure. And even though Notre Dame does face pressure, it hasn't exactly played in the negative plays for their defense. I think they're 85th in negative plays. So on the other side of the ball, Indiana actually has the best defense in terms of rushing yards per game. They haven't been against crazy rushing teams. I know Notre Dame is a solid backfield, but Cincinnati will have this team ready to play here, I feel. They still have a solid front seven. Plus, Oregon's also the only better team in the Big Ten in terms of third down conversion rate. So I just feel like Indiana's going to come out firing. I actually think Indiana's going to take a early lead, and Notre Dame's going to play catch up. So I think they're going to be leading at halftime in Indiana too. So I would definitely take them at the half. But I think Notre Dame chips away in the second half. Either way, even if Notre Dame wins, this should be less than a touchdown game. I see it creeping. Like I guess this might be 6 by the time it kicks off. But I'm going to take the points nonetheless. So Hoosiers?
Is that really what they say? I see people typing that all the time. Is that the chant?
Hoosiers. Yeah. 9-win Indiana.
9-win Indiana. I'm on Indiana. Also, I did sprinkle the money line. I have plus 7.5 in the money line are my two bets. And Scoop said a lot of the things that I would have said here is so I think Notre Dame's defense might be a little bit overvalued if you really look at now. First of all, the criticism I'm about to give to Notre Dame's defense, you can do a lot of that on the other side to the Indiana team as well. I mean, both these teams have question marks in terms of strength of schedule. You can pick and choose what games. Oh, they played this and they played that. It's tough when these teams play most of their games against bad teams, and we're dealing with 1 or 2 data points when we're talking about like trying to analyze these teams against other strong opponents. So when I'm talking about Indiana's run defense against Notre Dame, I think that's an aspect of the game we can hang our hats on. But the rest of it, there's a lot of question marks. But what the one aspect of the Notre Dame team that I think is overvalued is the defense. This entire season, they've seen 2 quarterbacks, maybe, right? Where's the third quarterback? A banged up Ashton Daniels. They see that when they played Georgia Tech, Haynes King was out. So who are the quarterbacks that Notre Dame's seen this season? They've seen Louisville and Tyler Shuck, and they've seen Mayava and USC. Other than that, haven't really seen any quarterbacks. I mean, I'm just scrolling to make sure. Calandry was terrible second half of the year. There's just no quarterbacks here. In those 2 games, Notre Dame's defense didn't look nearly as good. 29.5 points per game, over 6.5 yards per play. I would take Curtis Rourke and the Indiana passing attack over both of those. So I think the Notre Dame defense might be a little bit overvalued. Is Indiana going to be able to run the ball? Probably not. But I think Curtis Rourke can make some throws. On the other side, Notre Dame's going to try to run the ball. This Indiana run defense is tough. I'm sure they'll run the ball a little bit. Bottom line, I think that one Ohio State game is skewing. That one data point is skewing this line so bad. Nice throw. Is skewing this line so dramatically. If you take out this Ohio State game, what's this line? If Ohio State never happened, what's this line? I mean, 4?
4.
I think that one game, everyone's like, oh, Indiana, that was that one game against Ohio State. They're bad. Dude, everyone plays bad. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois at home.
Well, Notre Dame also didn't have the hardest schedule. They played A&M, and then everything else was...
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, like, that one data point is just shifting the market dramatically. So, yeah, I'm on Indiana, plus 7.5 on money line. I do think they could win. Will they? Probably not, but a plus 222, I'm in. Hoosiers, let's do it. Scoop?
Andy.
Oh, Andy, my bad.
Yeah. No. I have Notre Dame win margin, and I have them covering the spread. I have them winning by 13 to 18. I was just taking a shot there. I'm just taking a guess there, but I think they're covering the number. I get it. People question their schedule. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't look great for Notre Dame either. I mean, we did in the video, I think Indiana's schedule came out to like 43rd or 42nd, and I think Notre Dame's came out to 21st, but that was heavily because of Texas A&M. And that was with Weigman early in the season, so that was a nothing game anyway. But I don't know. People bring up the Ohio State game, and yes, that was a disaster for Indiana. they don't bring up the Michigan game where they were kind of getting bullied in the second half. And in that game, Michigan wasn't successful offensively, but neither was Indiana. Indiana couldn't throw. They really couldn't run much. And that's different because that was not a good Michigan team. The defense was fine, but the Notre Dame defense is far better than Michigan's is this year. And I wish it looked like it was going to be snowing during the game, so I was looking at rushing props because I thought everybody's going to be running the ball. I mean, Notre Dame's going to run the ball all over them, I think, no matter what. I don't think that Indiana's faced a rushing attack near like this, and the one that they did was Ohio State, and Ohio State had success. So I don't expect there to be like really any point in the game where you think Indiana's going to win the game. The question would be, in a game where they're running the ball probably the whole time, Notre Dame, can they cover a touchdown? That's the question. I think they can. I don't think Indiana's going to be able to get anything done offensively in this game. I think it's going to be very similar to the Ohio State game. Maybe they come out and they have a good
Okay. But that Ohio State game was a little misleading. There was a punt return touchdown. Indiana fumbled on their own 25. They fucked up a punt and gave Ohio State the ball in the 7.
I understand those are mistakes that you can't exactly replicate and you can't bet on happening. But it's the one time we saw them play a good opponent and they just acted like a team that wasn't ready. That was only 3 weeks ago. They had one game in between then. It was Purdue. Like, do we think that they're going to come out and be a completely different team? No. They acted scared the first time they had to go on the road and play a tough game. I think it could be similar this time. I was a fan of the 9 Indiana thing. I loved it. I like Curtis Rourke. I like Coach Cincinnati. They haven't played. The only reason that they're here is because multiple teams had to lose games to get Indiana here. And I know people are looking at Notre Dame's schedule and they're saying, well, they didn't play anybody. Look, Virginia was a pushover, yes, but Georgia Tech's the team that went into Georgia and went to 8 overtimes. That was a good football team. And they smoked Georgia Tech. I mean, they beat the crap out of a lot of good teams this year. Even Army won their conference and wiped out teams. That game wasn't competitive. Like, this Notre Dame team has done a good job, even if the schedule doesn't look like it. They haven't played a close game since pretty much what? I mean, that USC game was kind of close for a while. They haven't played a close game in a while. So, yeah, I like Notre Dame a lot tonight. I think it's going to be ugly, but clearly I'm the only one here.
Also, it's not supposed to snow or anything. It's just supposed to be cold, like maybe flurries. But
I heard slight chance of snow. Yeah. By the way, Tinker, Andy says you're getting dog walked tonight with this bet.
Okay. I have a dog walking tomorrow. I'm not calling this a dog walk.
All right, let's do the community parlay.
Coach Cincinnati.
The parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We coming out, making a parlay. Yeah.
Somebody said, why did I say Ohio State has success running the football? They had like 43%. That's pretty damn. That's fine. Like, that's a good rushing game. They had 4 yards per carry. That was good.
It was actually 3.97 yards per carry if you want to play the numbers game.
Shut up.
All right, let's do the. Do we have an underdog?
I'll have one tomorrow, but
okay. Then I'll just do the community parlay real quick. Indiana won that poll, by the way.
Can we make a parlay? There's 6 games.
Yeah, there's yes. You're right. Oh, screw it. Who cares?
Community top bet.
Yeah, community top bet. We'll do. So we got Sixers minus 13. They like the Cavs minus 9, and they like the Thunder minus 1.5. So we'll get the top NBA bet, and we'll weight it against the top college football or college basketball bet.
And then if you want it, just combine them.
Cast your votes.
And tease it.
So if you guys haven't heard, the schedule tomorrow is 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're doing college basketball first. We're going to go through college basketball. Then we're going to do the college football playoff games. There's 3 of them. And then we're going to go do the 2 NFL games. So pretty loaded day. Tomorrow's an awesome day for gambling, an awesome sports day. If you're able to make it, that's at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time.
I'm pretty mad that the football, NFL, and college games are on the same time.
That did kind of anger me as well.
Sucks.
All right,
Oh,
Cavs minus 9 is definitely the top bet.
That's what you guys like. Now you can watch it, right?
Oh.
All right, so then they like St. John's definitely. St. John's minus 5.
Games tomorrow.
Did they like Dayton or Cincinnati? They probably like Cincinnati because all you guys did. And then they like Indiana. So vote on this one.
Indiana halftime. Andy, you took the college basketball lead.
Yeah, I think I just blew it though at Western Michigan. That was just I couldn't believe what I was watching.
That was a rough loss.
So it's St. John's. So it's Cavs -9, St. John's -5.5. So the community top bet is Cavs -9, St. John's -5.5.
Johnny's. Good call.
All right. Cast your votes. What is your guys' favorite bet here of the 6?
It's the worst beat
coming
you've
back.
had this year.
Those things where like they cut it to 10 and I was like, oh, that's cute. They're going to kind of try to come back here. And then when they did it, I was like, are you kidding me?
I don't know what the worst beat I've had this year.
Peasy said Florida Square.
That's not the worst beat I've had this year.
Is that a fumble?
Under.
It's
I
incomplete.
don't think so. It's incomplete.
All right. Actually, this is pretty close. I'm going to let this this poll go for another few seconds. Kyle, can you explain how a tease works? It's basically just buying or selling points. Like you could take an alternate line. It's kind of
just make sure you do it to the right number. Like
the most common teaser are the 6-point teasers in football or in the NFL is when you have -7, you get a -1 at obviously much more expensive price. Just Google it, man. It'll give you a whole rundown on it.
What's the bowl at? Johnny's?
It's got to be St. John's -5.5 is the top bet. So community top bet, St. John's -5.5. Thanks everyone for watching. See you all tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, the Saturday videos are going up. The college football Saturday video is going to be up in about 10 minutes. And then the NFL video will be up probably later tonight, 8 or 9 p.m. tonight. So thanks everyone for watching. Have a good night. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me. Later.